I think the reason that I have been able to take care of so many plants successfully and really sustain in this hobby, because it is a trying hobby. I mean, as enjoyable as it is, as rewarding as it is very trying on one's patience, on one's confidence, on one's discipline. And I think the reason I've been able to just maintain all of these years is because I realize that every time that a plant has died in my care is a day that I have built my character even more. Let me explain. Welcome to the Rooted in Growth podcast, a podcast dedicated to cultivating personal growth, digging deep, and blossoming into the best version of ourselves. Welcome back to another episode of the Rooted in Growth podcast. Happy that you're here. And I was just thinking about character building days because I think that they are so important. And I learned about this just during my entrepreneurial journey and all of those hard days where, you feel as though you're ready to fold, like you're ready to give up, like things just aren't working out, are in fact the days that are most important, more than the success. The success is just the result of getting through the character building days, of building your character to be able to then even appreciate the fact that you have some success. But I want to talk about those character building days when it comes to being a plant parent, because there are some, and it is the difference between someone getting into this hobby, starting and quitting, and then someone getting into this hobby, starting, thinking about quitting, but making the decision to continue to persevere and learn and get it. Just finally crack the code of how to take care of a plant. And that line between the two is where character is built, because again, if you think about killing a plant, it's devastating, right? We really fall in love with our plants. We build a relationship with them. We build this connection with them, and we don't want any of them to die. And when it happens, especially as a beginner, it is hard. It's sometimes hard to come back from that. You feel like, man, I can't do this. I want to give up. I don't know how they do that. I don't know why I don't have the green thumb like others that I see. I mean, all of these thoughts start rushing into your head. And it's not so much that the others, have the green thumb, because really a green thumb is just a skill set. It means that you have taken the time to learn, to retain, to try, to fail, and to keep going over and over and over again until you just get really good at it, because you're starting to pick up things that you didn't in the last time that you tried, which essentially is a different version of yourself. In order to get from a beginner plant parent starting to someone being able to take care of hundreds of plants like nobody's business. I mean, they can look like they're not doing anything, not giving any effort, and plants just respond so well to them. In order to get to that, you really have to set your mind to being able to, one, detach from the outcome. If a plant dies, I am so sorry. That's just sometimes part of the process. It is a part of the process. And embracing it and taking it as a lesson for you to show you what parts you need to work on within yourself and your skill set, because you may not have the skill sets yet to take care of that particular plant or just know what to do. And that's okay. That's, again, part of building and growing as a plant parent. But there are just certain things, again, back to the mindset piece, that I really like centering everything around, that a beginner just has not developed yet because they don't have the experience. But the one thing across the board, whether you're a plant parent or just like doing anything, is making the decision to say, I'm not going to give up regardless if that plant just died. I know that I have things to work on within myself as a plant parent. I have things to learn. I have things to experience. I need to go do research. I need to see what is working for other people. I need to build a better relationship with my plants. It's when you can turn your mindset on to thinking like that instead of just instantly giving up. We live in such a microwave society nowadays. And I'm really thankful a lot of times that I'm a millennial and I grew up in an age where the internet was non-existent prior to the internet becoming what it is. But I remember, having AOL dial up, as I think I mentioned before. Even when that happened, obviously I wasn't a plant parent, I was a teenager, but having the wealth of knowledge that people do now, or the access to it now, is different. It is developing people in a different way, because it's just all there. There is instant access to whatever you want to learn. Back then, it wasn't. And I think it developed me as a person outside of being a plant parent. It developed me as a person to just figure it out. Before there was an internet, we had to figure it out. And I'm not like that old, but I'm in that millennial golden bridge gap of an age where I know what it was like before the internet and content creation and social media. And I know what it's like now. And I've adapted to being able to have all this information just right there in the palm of my hand and using it and utilizing it as a resource, right? I am still in that figure out mode, but now I have this nice resource to help me figure it out. And I think a lot of plant parents, when they're beginning, it's a lot of information. That's the other part too. It's a lot of information that you're taking in. And so there's just like this tornado of all of these variables that can either make you or break you as a plant parent. But at the end of the day, when it comes to taking care of plants and all the things that can go wrong, those are the days that are building your character to be able to be the plant parent that deep down you can be, that deep down that you are already, and that you see in other people that you're like, wow, like if they can do it, like why not me? It is within you. But those people, including myself, have gone through a lot of character building days. And I sit in those days and really reflect on the things that I have learned, what the thing that I may be dealing with right now is trying to teach me. Like when I kill a plant, especially one that I may have never tried before, like it intimidated me and I finally made a decision to go ahead and try it, to try and take care of it. When it failed in my care, I didn't say, oh, I'm just going to give up. Forget all these plants. That was the one that really just, you know, I'm done with the hobby. No, I said, okay, you died. Cool. I'll probably just go ahead and get another one and figure it out. If I really wanted to learn about that plant, I'm just going to keep trying until I figure it out. I'm going to remember the things that I did and maybe where I went wrong and change it up so that the next time I try, I get a different result. And if it ends up being that the plant died again, I might try one or two more times. And then I just make the decision that maybe that plant is just not right for my environment. Maybe it has nothing to do with me at all, right? Sometimes it has nothing to do with us at all. And again, that's another moment in your character building where you have to realize sometimes it is the lack of skill set. Sometimes it is the lack of patience. Sometimes it is lack of knowledge. And sometimes it's just the plant. Sometimes the plant just does not want to live in your environment, and that is totally fine. But those character building days are going to be so important for you. And I really hope that you embrace them when things feel hard, when it feels like you're not getting anything right. I mean, those plants are dying left and right, or, I just want you to know that that is happening for a reason. It's happening on purpose because no one gets from 0 to 100 without all of the, bumps in the road, without all of the failures and the successes, like with all of the lessons in between that you need to know, because you at the level that you want to be, if you were to envision the plant parent that you dream of being, whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like, I want you to imagine that right now for me. It could be that you have a beautiful, lush jungle full of plants. It can be that you are able to master very hard, just finicky plants that don't usually do very well indoors. It could be that you just want huge plants, like you just want to grow really huge plants, like whatever that looks like for you. I want you to envision it. Okay. Keep that in your mind. I also want you to think about the type of plant parent it will take for you to get there. What does that plant parent look like? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What are they learning? What are they doing on their day to day to have that? Right? Maybe it is they are studying plants. And I'm not saying studying like you're in school, but maybe they're just looking at something about plants once a day and just learning something. Maybe it is they are trying, different things and figuring out what works for them, but they're not going to give up regardless. Maybe it is taking it one plant at a time, learning, mastering that one, and then going on to the next and accumulating a collection that way. Maybe it is someone that has a lot of patience, because if you recognize that you don't, it takes a lot of patience to take care of plants. So maybe you then need to realize that there are things that you may not embody. There are skill sets that you may not have. There's a mindset that you may not have developed yet in this present version of yourself that you need to work on to get to that version of a plant parent that you see for yourself. You get what I'm saying? And this is across the board. This is just mindset in general. When it comes to anything that you want to be, that you want to master, that you want to get good at, going from the version that you are right now to that version of yourself that can do those things and can have those things, it's going to be two different people. You're going to be shedding an old version of yourself that you also have to be okay with doing. The plant parent version of myself, who I started with as a beginner, is most definitely not who I am right now. Okay. Beginner Brit was curious and, open to learning, was still scared of failing, but would, sometimes get very caught up in trends and wanting to save every, sad plant on the clearance rack and wanting to use only like certain products and not really explore outside of that. Like, I was open. I've always been open. I've always been curious. I've always been one that just like loves to soak up knowledge, but the beginner version of myself was still intimidated by things. I was still, maybe even running a little bit faster than I should have been. I definitely didn't crawl before I walked, before I ran. I ran from, a couple of plants to 100 in less than a year. And, then kind of had to backtrack and really, slow down a little bit to learn and process what was happening and retain information and knowledge. I am always the person that likes to just like jump into things and learn, from my mistakes, but sometimes it's also okay to like take a step back and learn so that you're not having as many mistakes. So again, thinking about the version that you are right now to who you want to be is going to be a process, it's going to be a journey. That's why I always say your plant parenthood journey, because it is a journey. It's not a marathon, it's not a race, it is your own personal journey that you just have to take day to day, recognize when those character building days are coming up and embrace them. Say, wow, this is a character building day. What am I to learn today from this lesson, from this plant dying, from me getting these pests? What is this trying to teach me, not only as a plant parent, but as a person? Okay, because being a plant parent and how you personally grow and develop as a person is so symbiotic. Who I am now, as I said, and who I was trying to grow into as a beginner, I always envisioned this for myself, but I definitely had to do a lot of personal development and growing along the way outside of just being a plant parent, just for myself. It has helped me be a better plant parent because I have learned things like discipline and patience and being able to reflect and being able to recognize and have the awareness and discernment of a character building day. So hopefully this helps. I want you to embrace those character building days. Let me know if you have ever experienced a character building day and what that was like for you and what came out of it for you as well. And yeah, I just wanted to get that one off my chest because, again, even as someone as experienced as me, I still have character building days. I never want those to go away. I always want to be a different version, a better version of myself every day, every month, every year for the rest of my life. The faster you embrace those character building days, the faster you'll get to where you want to be as a person, as a plant parent, and just in life in general. So hopefully you enjoy this episode. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, we're going to continue to grow because those plants are telling us to do so.